and welcome to the premiere episode of Season 2 of Heart Health with Tracy Renee. Now, you know how I always tell you all, go call your good girlfriends, send a mass text message and tell them that Heart Health with Tracy Renee is season premiere 2. You know what's going on. It's going to be a lot of heart health issues that are going to be discussed, and today is no different. So sit back, enjoy everything, and come right on back. Hello, and welcome back to the season premiere 2 of Heart Health with Tracy Renee. Guys, I'm so excited to be here. Of course, as you all know, we are going to be discussing all things directly and indirectly related to the heart, and today is no different. I decided that I wanted to bring on one of my great girlfriends whom I've known a few years now, who is like a sister to me now. Of course, we spend just about every weekend together. But Bridget Amos is here today, guys, and we share a common heart health issue, and that is the loss of our fathers. So we're going to be talking today with Bridget. We're going to find out what that actual heart issue is with her and just share a dad's love and how she feels about the loss of her dad. So welcome, Bridget, and thank you for being on my season 2 premiere episode.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. This is a wonderful experience.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Well, good. Well, I'm excited. So let's just jump right on in. You know, I love to share heart issues, and that's what I call these. And so you and I, as I just stated, share that common bond of the loss of our dads. Now, mine being 3 years past since I lost my dad, of course, of heart disease, which is why we're here now talking about that. But your loss is a little bit more recent. Mm-hmm. Okay. So tell us about the bond that you share with your dad.
I am a daddy's girl. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. So I'm the only girl, first off.
Okay.
The only oldest girl.
Okay.
So very, very close relationship with my dad. It was bittersweet. Like a lot of us in the world today, I come from a broken home. So my mom and my dad was married and they got a divorce, right? And so with us being the kids all in the dress, it can get kind of rocky, right? And so my relationship with my father growing up and going through high school and all that, it's changed and it shifted for me. I started like backing away from him. I was very heartbroken because again, that's my dad. Like he did everything for us. He really, really did. He was that provider, that priest. He was everything.
He was the actual head of the household.
Yes. He spoiled me. That's basically what it is. And so our relationship really didn't get back until I became an adult. Moved to Houston and was living, the life, right? And knew that I was missing a very important piece in my life, and that was my father. We started learning each other again, and I'm going to try not to cry here, but we started learning each other again, and I started to know him, and not what everybody was saying, the influences on the outside. If I could say that.
Yeah.
And it helped. It really did help.
Let me stop right there. So learning your dad, learning him and his heart, not listening to what everybody else said and looking at him through the eyes of everyone else. What was the catalyst that made you say, okay, let me stop looking at dad based upon what mom says, what grandma, auntie, uncle says. Let me really look at my dad and look at his heart. What was that made you decide it was time to do that?
I think because I started to see relationships, and everybody's perspective in relationships was different. Again, I was older, like I was 22 when it really started to get stronger. And I wrote him a letter and told him how I felt. I had all these crazy emotions, right? And I think he just was like, hold on, pump the brakes, wait a minute. Wait a minute. And so that's when we were kind of like, okay, I need to take a step back. My dad's relationship, a father and daughter's relationship is so different than your companion, your wife, your kid's mom. And so I really had to learn the different dynamics, right?
Okay.
And say, okay, that's really not my issue. And I think so many times, even as parents, because I'm a parent, you know that,
Of course.
we allow our kids to get involved in those type of relationships, and it's not for them.
Yeah,
So
that's right. Wow. So we are going to expound on that a little bit more. I want to find out again, what was it that um, made you say, okay, after writing that letter, what happened from that point? How was Dad receptive of receiving that letter? And then we'll move on a little bit more from there. Okay. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay. So sit back, guys. I tell you, it's always another heart-wrenching story here on Heart Health with Tracy Renee. Go take a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. So at the ending of the last break, Bridget just mentioned to us writing a letter to her dad and getting out all of that pent-up emotion that she needed to get out. So let's find out what happened from that point forward.
Well, after, displaying my feelings and everything that was going on, he really, he took it very well. I think he was more excited than anything because at that moment, he seen where there's a shift that he's always wanted a relationship with his baby girl again, right? So we started communicating a lot. I was traveling back home a lot, seeing him and just really reconnecting that bond again. So it was a lot of fun. It really, really was.
Wow. And so when did the transition begin to happen with your dad? And what led to that? Because I've talked to you multiple times, and it's, girl, I'm on the road. I'm going to check on my dad. I'm going to see how things are going.
Yes.
So
yes,
when
yes.
did the transition actually begin to start? And how are you dealing with it?
Well, my dad suffered, he lost his battle of cancer, liver cancer, and it started to spread. In the midst of us, and our relationship growing again, it was Father's Day. And I was going home to visit him for Father's Day, and my family called and shared that they had to rush him to the hospital. Right? So they rushed him to the hospital. I said, okay, I'm going to meet him there. And we got to the hospital, and that's when they found out that he had a blockage and all of that, right? And he needed to go into emergency surgery immediately.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm praying.
Right.
God got
this.
As
we are, that's right.
God got this. And he went into surgery, came out as a fighter, as he always was. And it was so funny, we laughed because he immediately asked the doctor, okay, when I'm going back to work.
Sounds a lot like my daddy.
When I'm going back to work. And she's like, you're not going back to work.
I say no.
And so he looked over and he was like, Bridget, you better tell her I need to go back to work. I was like, Dad.
Wow.
So, but, we laughed about it and we talked. I think the devastating thing that hit me is now that my relationship is back, on track with my dad, the doctor pulled me in the hallway and said, hey, your dad has cancer. And we found it, right? And so he has a colostomy bag, all of that, right? So it changed his life very quickly.
Okay.
And so just battling with trying to keep him in good spirits, and all that. So I was literally traveling back and forth from Houston to Port Arthur, which is like an hour and a half.
Okay.
For a long time. And so that was in 2016 is when he got diagnosed. And he passed 2019. So at that moment he was stage 4, which we all know stage 4 cancer, especially of the liver, and it spread to his colon.
Wow.
It could be very quickly. But my dad was a fighter.
Yeah. I mean, most men are. I heard you mention that your dad still wanted to go to work. My dad was the same way. He was laying in ICUs telling the people, I'm ready to be discharged. I'm ready to go. I'm like, dude, I'm fine. Dude, they don't send fine people home. You're in ICU.
Yes.
You have to go from ICU to a regular room first before you can go home. So I get it. But that's, I think, the generation of men that our fathers came from.
Mm-hmm.
So now that you have developed this wonderful relationship with your dad, and not even knowing that the time was about to be shortened with your dad, how was it to be in those last few moments and knowing that you've already developed that with him? What's that like?
Oh, prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Prayer.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of prayer.
Mm-hmm.
I prayed that God would if anything, give me time.
Mm-hmm.
While he fights.
Okay.
So I was really thankful for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it gave me time to get myself prepared.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. Wow. It's okay. That it's all a dad's love. No matter what we go through and how old we are, we all want the love of our fathers. And here we are, two adult women, parents of our own, and still being able to express that love and that passion. And I'm so glad that you had that time with your dad. But guys, stay tuned. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back, guys. I hope you are still here with us, enjoying the wonderful story of a father's love with my good girlfriend, Bridget Amos. So, Bridget, in these last few minutes that we have together, I would love for you to give an encouraging word to those that are in the same situation that we're in, and tell us what is it that you're doing in order to be able to continue to move forward.
Oh, definitely. Well, it's still fresh,
Mm-hmm.
right? As you mentioned, my dad passed away October, actually it's this month, at the end of this month last year. So we're coming up on his anniversary, and I have to be transparent.
Go ahead. That's what we're here for.
It's definitely a struggle. It really, really is. Every day I think about him, right? Especially, coming back from rebounding from that relationship. So my encouraging words to everyone is keep the memories, right? People are going to tell you it's going to get better. It's not. You are going to live in it. And it's okay. But honestly, prayer and devotion has really helped me kind of pick up and move on. And also my friends. You got to have a good circle of friends around you that always love on you in these times. But keep the memories. Keep praying for your peace and your comfort. And just know that it'll never be a perfect time to get over it.
No.
But you can do it. You can definitely do it.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you a couple words, knowing that I am 3 years in. You're coming up on that 1 year. And that was the hardest year for me, that 1 year. And ironically, October, this is the 5th year of my sister's passing, but we're talking about daddies today. So one of the things that I find myself doing, first of all, I used to call my dad all the time for any issue. And one of the things that I find encouraging for me, my dad loved music. I would put on his playlist and I would literally get up and dance and sing all day long and reminisce about something crazy that my dad said or did growing up. Does it get easier? I wouldn't necessarily say easier, but it gets a little softer. It gets a little softer. So you're going to get through it. You're going to get through it.
Yes,
so tell us, how can they find out about you?
Well, you can follow me on Instagram or Facebook. On Instagram, I am a Mary Kay consultant. So
okay.
So
I knew that, guys. I was just saying that.
So you can definitely follow me on Instagram, Mary Kay _Bridget. And on Instagram, I'm always on there. And then Facebook at Bridget Banks-Amos. Always just sharing my story, and also our model behavior.
All right, guys, so you just heard it. Bridget is a Mary Kay consultant, so definitely make sure that you go and follow her across all of the social media platforms and find out what kind of great products Mary Kay has to offer. Bridget Banks-Amos is your go-to consultant for all Mary Kay needs, guys. Hello. Thank you, guys. If you're still staying tuned with us, that means that you witnessed a beautiful love story with Bridget Banks of just sharing her heart, the issue today of daddy's love. So, guys, I want you to continue to stay tuned and sit back and let us know if there's anything that you'd like to hear. We've got a whole lot planned for you this season on Heart Health with Tracy Renee. Of course, you all know how we do it. We're going to talk all things healthy heart related to the actual organ, and we're going to talk more about relationships and personal finance. That's always an issue as well, too, guys. So stay tuned, sit back. Of course, you know you can follow us across all of the social media platforms. Heart Health with Tracy Renee. I am personally on social media as The Tracy Renee. You can follow me there as well. And drop us a line. Let us know what you thought about today's show. And if you have any encouraging words for the next person, or if you're just having issues with your own dad, or you want to share a wonderful story about your dad, send us an email at tracy@tracyrenee.com. We'd love to hear more about you. And I want you to do just as we always do. Call your good girlfriends and tell them we'll be here every Wednesday, 12 noon your time, sharing more heart-wrenching stories about heart health with Tracy Renee. So we look forward to seeing you guys soon. And thanks again, Bridget, for being my first guest on season 2. So guys, go follow all of us. We are going to see you on next week, next Wednesday again, 12 noon.